So hi everyone. Welcome to the new episode of Venue Talks. The World Cup is 3-4 days away. So we last episode we did about Chepauk and Wankhede Stadium. Again, Pranav and Prakash is here with me. So let's begin with a few other venues today. Let's focus on say Bangalore, like Dharamsala, like Eden Gardens, and also the Lucknow Stadium, Ekana Stadium. So that is a bit like less known about because like normally people associate that with like low bounce and like turning tracks and all those things. So let's look at a few let's begin. So let's look at a few stats of say Ekana Stadium. So it was built in 2017. So data is also less over there. Sample size is a bit less. So but we more or less have an idea of how the pitches and everything behaves over there. So let's look at a few stats from Cricinfo to like validate what we see there. So I will share my screen for that. Yeah, so as we can see here, so this is like the stats page in Cricinfo for the Ekana Stadium. So if you focus on the last three ODIs, right? So the last one was on 6th October, like last year, 2022. So India, South Africa. So over there, so we have this a few matches. So if you can see at the overall stats, right? So the three matches is Afghanistan, West Indies, and India, South Africa. And just the basic, like I won't go into too much details over here because like we don't really read much into it because like very few games. But the overall India South Africa match was that it was like 240 plays, 249 kind of a pitch, and like Afghanistan West Indies also similar kind of scores. So what we generally associate with Lucknow Stadium is somewhat like you get subpar like 250 kind of totals, and like people like normally we have more or less close games. So that's and obviously like spinners play a major role. So that's the main thing over there. And so apart from that, but one interesting stat maybe I saw in Crickbuzz or somewhere, right, is that like in a like previous month or something I saw somewhere that like teams chasing actually do well here. So like somewhat around I think it's 2-7 if I'm not wrong. Like two times like people have won like batting first, and 7 times they have won while chasing. So being a spin friendly track, so it's kind of it's kind of weird, I would say, like because normally we associate put runs on the board and let the spinners do the thing. So that's somewhat like a point to note over there. So if you go by the stats, it's a chase kind of a wicket, but like personally, I would feel that still like putting runs on the board in World Cup matches should help in Lucknow. So yeah, do you guys have anything to share on this, like on this Ekana Stadium? So what do we know from this stadium?
We'll be playing England over here, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one place out of those 6-game strategy that we spoke of yesterday or day before, that I think India should be able to take these points away from England simply because of the strength that we have in our spin department. England are sort of weak, and this will be an area you target them to take those 3 points away, because there'll be 3 points not on a platter, but we should eat these 3 points up. That's my only thing as far as this venue is concerned.
Yeah. I think perhaps, yeah. Go ahead, Pranav.
Yeah, so basically what we saw in IPL for the Lucknow Super Giants was two kinds of surfaces. I mean, definitely Lucknow faced the flag from Hardik for, having a very poor T20 average. But when we came to the IPL, we saw two kinds of surfaces. One which they prepared where Mark Wood took a fifer, and the other where they choked Sunrisers Hyderabad with some spin. So there are two kinds of surfaces here possible, but what's the beauty here? It's all black soil grade. So I've read reports that the pitch is being relayed and it will be controlled by ICC, and no matches have happened after the IPL in the ground. So it's something that I think would be a slowest surface. I mean, how much ever you try, you can't change the base nature of the surface unless it's being brought in from somewhere, drop-in pitches or some things like that. But I hope it to be a Chennai like a wicket. I mean, typical Chennai like a wicket, a slow turner, because England have Rashid and Moin. They don't have many threatening options for Indian batters, especially certain left-arm spin options. So yeah, probably you might see say Kishan playing the game to bash Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali or Joe Root for that matter. But yeah, this should be an interesting game. No two ways about it.
Yeah, I think this is the only like wicket in India where India should get a bit of a home advantage, because like especially against England, because I feel that like most of the other tracks, say Wankhede or whatever, so I don't think there is much debate of much talk of a home advantage, because like the conditions, like especially since it's an ICC tournament, it's gonna be mostly like a standard kind of pitches. You can't expect too much of home advantage. But being Lucknow, the kind of pitch, the nature it is, you can't change the basic nature of the wickets, as like Pranav you also said. So I expect like if you are talking about home advantage, this is one pitch where you may expect some help, especially since the opposition is England here, right, for India. And also we have some good games here actually. Australia, South Africa is also here, so that's gonna be like a good game here. So let's like looking forward to the matches here as well. So I think also like first time they are hosting such high profile games, so I have to see how it like how the stadium and everything like pans out. So hoping for some good contests. So next, let's move on to say Eden Gardens, right? So like I have this tab open as well for Eden Gardens. So last 3 ODIs. So if we look at this, so basically what we have is like last ODI was played January this year. It was India Sri Lanka. So I remember this match. I like saw a bit on like if we go into this ODI. So the nature of this is basically like Kuldeep Yadav was man of the match here. So we see that Rispin played a good part here. So which is kind of expected in like Eden Gardens. So pretty much has everything for pacers as well, batsmen, like spinners. It's as a proper cricket wicket, what I feel. So, and we got like, it was a low scoring affair. So Sri Lanka got bundled out for 215. So if we see the bowling stats, right? So Kuldeep Yadav like pick up the bowlers, like Akshar Patel also pretty economical. And the pacers also like more or less did a good job. So like Eden Gardens, so what I know from like my like understanding is that it's a kind of a like pitch where like if you are a technically solid batsman, you're gonna score runs. If you are a good pacer, you're gonna hit the right areas, you're gonna swing the ball. If you're a good spinner, like proper, I think like it's the only stadium where I think like wrist spinners, this might play a good role here, because like especially because of the pitch, like everything. So like and one thing I would say that the stats might tell you that like it's 11-12 like chasing and batting first, like it's pretty close. But what I feel like you should probably be batting first here is mainly I say is because it's in day-night encounters. So when the first innings is gonna end, I feel especially we have a river, the Ganges here. So the wind which comes around that time will definitely help swing bowling. So I think players like say like Bhuvi is not here, but like someone like a David Willie kind of players like will actually enjoy like that time to actually like it's a good time to pick up some early wickets. So I feel that batting first might be a good option, post some good runs on the board. And the main point what I would want to make here is with Eden Gardens is like you might see 50 all out kind of matches as well, and also you might see a 380 kind of a score here. So that's a bit of a like thing here, because like if you're a technically solid team, you're gonna play well here. Simple as that. So I'm like otherwise it can be a Sri Lanka kind of a thing in Asia Cup final here, because like you can get steep bounce here, you can get spin here, you can get pretty much flat tracks here as well. So like it's like anyone's it's difficult to call. So that's kind of a nature of Eden Gardens right now. So gone are the days of like Gautam Gambhir's like KKR, where you could just like Sunil Narayan to do the job and spinners to like do everything. So it's a completely different track now. And also so like but you're gonna expect a good cricket wicket. That's what I can say here. So this was the last ODI. So like so as we saw that like Rispin played a good part here. So if we like go back, so and the last 2-3 matches was basically, so this is basically a variety. So here we saw a low scoring thriller. So if we go into the India Australia game in 2017, right? So over here, over here is 1 minute. Yeah, so over here we see that like it was also a 250-ish kind of a score. Like so Australia lost the match. So also Virat Kohli played a pretty good knock of 92 here. So the overall like summary of this is also, as you can see here again, pacers did a good job. So the first like thing we saw, the spinners, Kuldeep Yadav played well here. The pacers can also play well if they bowl well in right areas. And so like it sets up for, as you can see, yeah, what I was talking about. See, Bhuvi took like some 6.13 for 9. So the swing aspect of the in the second innings comes into the picture as well here, big time. So overall, like it's a good cricket wicket. So that's the basic summary of it. And so this is what I understand of Eden Gardens. And so anything like you guys want to share on this? Like what do you expect from Eden Gardens in this World Cup?
Who is our opponent over here? I think it's South Africa, right?
South Africa, right?
South Africa.
Yeah.
They're missing Andrik Nokia, by the way, on this pitch.
Yeah, they're out of he's out. But I was just thinking how this game would affect. We should have advantage over here also. But if it does move, so I don't know if that game against South Africa is clear cut that we should win. It's a 50-50 game if you ask me.
Yeah. So if you go to the ground stats PDF that we had,
Yep.
and switch over to Kolkata, that's right at the bottom. Here, what we see is, as Saptak mentioned, batting first has a great advantage. This is also a ground where Rohit Sharma hit his double hundred against Sri Lanka. Yeah, and the average runs per wicket is 231. Now, this particular ground is something where a lot of neutral matches also happen. So the overall ground record that we have here of the average first innings total of 236 actually does not give us a clear picture of India alone. But if you look at it in a larger perspective, the wickets are sort of kind of sticky in nature. I mean, I would say that it's completely spin friendly, but it's just like how you apply yourself and play. So basically, like the wicket you saw for the India Pakistan Super 4 game in Colombo, where initially you will have some sort of movement, but once you negotiate that, it's a good batting wicket. But then once slowly the sun starts setting down, and it again starts to move. So that sort of wicket is what we can expect in the India South Africa game. Of course, minus no rain. I hope there are no rain chances. Saptak would know better that what's there in October.
Yeah,
But
regarding rain, I think like right now it's still raining in Kolkata. So I just hope by the time the games are a bit late. So I think it's mainly the big game is on November. So hopefully by that time it stops. But till now there is a bit of rain around. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to point out is this was the ground where Shubman Gill owned while playing for KKR. I mean, of course, you can say he's an Ahmedabad bully, or people call him as an Ahmedabad bully, which is absolute rubbish. But when he played for KKR, he owned this ground. So probably in that aspect, this pitch will suit his back foot game. And Rohit Sharma's pull shots, I need not mention. But what I'm looking forward to in this sort of a game where you have, pieces like Rabada, Koji, they could beef you up with pace, rattle you with those balls. So probably we would want some adaptive batting up front, and you expect that from the top three. Of course, middle overs you have KL Rahul to tackle, but adaptive batting, beat any team. I mean, I'm seeing currently when we are recording, Bangladesh England warm-up match is going on, and I can only see England's Jai Mata Di batting. I mean, I can't find any other term to describe it. They are 9 for 1, 51 for 2, 91 for 3. They're going all bonkers on a rain-affected game. So probably that sort of approach won't work is what I feel. You have to adapt and then score runs in Kolkata. It's a very it's a wicket where you have to prize your stance
So
in
yeah.
runs.
Yeah, so the only thing which I want to add here is we have another game here, like England Pakistan is also here. So that is going to be a very good match to watch, because I think against the Pakistani pacers, how the English batters, if they go all guns blazing or they like apply themselves, so that will be so what I feel is you can't go all guns blazing in Kolkata, right? You have to, as you said, you have to apply yourself, because like I feel that if you're gonna get close matches in Eden Gardens, both the teams have to have technically strong players who would apply themselves. Otherwise, it's gonna be like a walkover kind of a situation, like one team like running over the other. So hopefully that's not the case. Yeah.
England-Pakistan contest will be a one-off between Babar Azam and England Pacers.
Right.
And it will be on the other side, it will be David Malan versus Pakistan Pacers. Because once you get through that initial breeze of both the sides, I mean, they have beefed up on batting both ways. So I don't know if it could be a 400 game as well. Who knows?
True. Yep. So it can be really anything. So like that's the
Yeah.
beauty of Eden Gardens. Like so kind of not too much predictable. So anyway, so which ground we want to cover next? Bangalore?
Let's go to Bangalore.
Okay, cool.
Do you
So,
have it here?
Yeah, you want me to open the the Espncricinfo stats or this PDF thing?
Let's go with this first. I mean, you
Okay,
have
fine.
Bengaluru right up next to this.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Prakash can cover Bangalore because he's so-called RCB fan.
No, I'm not an RCB fan, but I've been to this ground quite a few times. Basically, in this ground, even without looking at the stats, if you bat first, no score is safe. You've seen in the IPL the kind of scores that have been chased down. The ground is tiny. It does a bit, but generally it's very good to bat on. So even if you make a 400, 375 type of score, it's not safe. It is just not safe. This is all I know. Let's dig into these stats a little bit more. You can see batting second, the team has won one more time. But I don't know how fresh these stats are. Off late, I'm not sure if setting a score has been par for course on this wicket. You see that there's a 260 score. I don't know when was the last. 3 years ago, we've seen a last ODI here. Batting and the game has evolved drastically since then.
Yeah.
I don't that score is going to be blown out of the water for sure. That's to begin with. India's record is pretty good here, with remembering that famous win in '96 against Pakistan in the quarterfinal, was it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that Amir Sohail won, right? The Venkatesh Prasad, that incident,
Yeah.
But they made 280 something in that game, if I'm not mistaken.
This
was in '96. Yeah, it was in '96.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this average score has been arrived to. I don't know. Something is not right, or games played over here have been quite a lot in the past. I mean, if you look at the highest total here, it's 383. There's a good chance it will be broken this World Cup. It won't surprise me.
Yeah.
This ground is where Kevin O'Brien went berserk and they upsetted England in 2011, and there have been a few tight games here. I mean, if you take about the ODI games, there have been a few tight games, and I wouldn't be surprised if we end up having super overs for this World Cup.
This was the venue where we had that India-England match, right? The tied one.
Yeah, the tied game.
That was in Chennai. That was in Chennai.
But Ireland chased down a mammoth England total, upsetting Andrew Strauss and his men. But what I want to specifically point out here is that out of the ODIs that have been played, the only stat that catches my eye is the average runs per wicket. It's 35.4. If you have 10 wickets, that's 354 runs. And like Prakash mentioned, there's no score is safe. But since ICC is setting the pitch, I don't know. I mean, what you expect of this pitch is, where do you bowl to batters like Josh Butler? I mean, he'll play those scoops, he'll play those ramp shots, he'll hit you over the covers, he'll pull you for six if you bowl short balls. It's just difficult. I mean, I'm glad India have their last game versus Netherlands. Otherwise, if they had it with some teams like Australia or England or even that matter New Zealand, would have been horrible. I mean, they could have ended up chasing 400. That's a different story. But how do you look at the surface? And I'm actually amazed at how RCB have managed to keep this ground as their fortress, despite being a very small ground. And in Tamil, there's a phrase "potikada size ground," which is like a very like a local shop size ground where you spit and it goes for six from the pitch. So it's a very small ground, but I hope I hope that we don't see too many 370s. I mean, it will be very boring because you have to have big games.
I'll add one more thing to this. Since all the games are day-night games, that early, in Bangalore between 9 to 11, the ball moves around a little bit. That is completely negated. So there will only be, it'll just come in straight lines, and you can expect a lot of boundaries and fours, basically. Nothing for the bowler.
I think ICC would keep staff outside the ground in that highway to collect balls. And there's nothing else that you can pick out. I remember Chris Gale's 175 against Pune Warriors. He just smashed it out of the ground like I mean, he saw the ball like a hawk. So that sort of surfaces, if you're getting, then bhuja, I mean, it's going to be proper fun. And fantasy players would enjoy batters being the captains.
Yeah. See, the only thing regarding this Bengaluru pitch is, I think in one IPL season, I don't remember, the ball was kind of spinning. So in one IPL,
Chahal's
Chahal
season,
was bowling well.
picked,
So
I think,
so
17,
hopefully,
18
like,
wickets.
I saw the entire like square got revamped or something. So I saw a pic that everything was taken off. So let's see how that like plays out. So yeah, so the basic gist is that you're gonna like score runs, the bowlers better like be on their game. So that's the only thing here to look out
I
for.
mean, I wouldn't be surprised if India plays Surya on this weekend. I mean, I've told that last episode that he may play in Mumbai, but if he plays here and if he plays at 4-5, gone for all money. Then you could end up getting 400 plus every time you play here.
Right.
I hope that's just not the case.
Yeah, so even if we go into this like the ESPN-Cricinfo stats, the last 3 games, so what do we have here? So India, Australia. So let's just look in the last game. So just for an overview.
People have won games chasing with overs to spare. I mean, that's the beauty of this ground.
So it's a high scoring affair as well, right? So
you have minimum 15 balls to spare on every game that's been chased out. And what's interesting here is that this is the only ground where there have been no runouts. I mean,
wow,
except 1 or 2. But you can't run twos on this ground.
Yeah, it's a small.
That's the beauty of it. It's a very small ground, 70-meter or boundary, or even lesser than that. I don't know. And I read ICC conditions which were released today. No boundary should be less than 65 and more than 80 meters. I mean, imagine you put it here on Chinnaswamy, and I don't know. God knows what's the average score in this World Cup for this ground.
Another thing is this surface is above sea level. It's on a hilly area. So like Johannesburg, slightly hit shot just goes out of the ground.
Top edge goes for 6 in the side screen. Even in Vyncke, if you hit a top edge, it might for once it might go up and you get caught like an umbrella. But this, you hit a top edge, and with the bat sizes these days, it's going for 6. I mean, even if it hits the side edge, it's going for 6 over third man. So imagine you're pulling a shot, being a left-hander, and it hits your sideways top edge, it's going for 6 over third man.
Right.
And you can't have a third man here. That's the point. You have to have fielders square of the boundary.
Yeah, fair enough. So this was about like the famous Chinnaswamy Stadium. So expecting high scoring games here. So one more venue which we have. Go ahead.
If there's something different that's there, please let us know in the comments, because
true, absolutely.
I have not visited this place, but Prakash has, and I've seen games on TV. The only save that I remember which AB de Villiers did of Sunrisers Hyderabad was that one hand blinder that he took, I think in 2016 or 17. But apart from that, it's all flying over places.
Yeah. So so the next basically what we have is the Dharamsala, right? It's a very interesting venue. So it's a very interesting venue, and like because
let's go
like
to ground stats.
And let's go to the ground stats over there. So it's kind of like limited sample size. Go ahead, Pranav.
So what people have been saying here about Dharamsala is based on the T20 data that we have. But if you look at the ODI data, it has been a hunky-dory chasing ground. I mean, 70% of the games have been won chasing, and the average score is 172. Let's keep that aside because of the movement. I mean, I remember Hardik Pandya making his debut over here, getting his cap from Kapil Dev, and under Dhoni, I think that was.
The New Zealand game, right?
Yeah, and he took wickets for fun, I think.
Right.
So the point that I'm trying to make here is that it's a bit like Kolkata. You can expect anything, but since it's on a hilly area, ball could move, but it's an absolute out and out chasing ground. This has been revamped though. There are a few friends of mine who have sent out beautiful pictures of the Dharamsala ground. And what's interesting here is that the last time when an IPL game was played in this venue, I think in this season itself there were a few games played, or rather the last season. I'm not remembering correctly, but the teams were actually comfortable chasing, unlike batting first. So the song that we have been singing for all this while, that bat first, put runs on board, could actually be difficult when you're playing here, because the more you go above or on altitude, the more you get the chances of dew. And that's the reason why it's been a very good chasing ground. So probably just like what we reiterated for Bengaluru, it's not a small ground, but if you have a score less than 300, you might not be safe, because you have dew settling in very early, because in Dharamsala it's about winters, right? So you have sun setting very early and rising up again early. So it's like 6 a.m. to say 6 p.m. Or something like that, 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you have dew settling in very early. So spinners might not be that effective in this ground as such, because the average pace versus spin value is very large. I'm talking about the T20 data that we have. So basically what we see here is it's a good chasing ground. So versus New Zealand, you chase. I mean, you can play Shami on this wicket, no problem, because you have 7 batters who can handle swing well. So talking from an Indian perspective, it's not as dangerous as we think it could be. That's what I feel.
We're playing New Zealand here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'd just like to add two things over here very quickly. Number one, this is probably the most beautiful ground in India.
Yeah.
It's hands down so pretty. Number two, in the recently concluded Test series, India and Australia that we had, a game was cancelled over here because the ground was under renovation.
Yeah.
So the data might be a little bit misleading, because I've heard from people that they've relayed the wickets over there.
Yeah.
And ICC is taking over. So I don't know what to expect. But again, this is another place like Eden Gardens, in my opinion, which is a 50-50 game for India. I don't know what the right words are, but this is a place where we can afford to lose a game, provided we make sure we win all the other games that are at venues that suit us.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Probably chase versus New Zealand, because the spin armory is not that strong, is what I feel. But I don't know. They could be surprises, because they played absolute bonkers versus Pakistan the other day. I mean, I think Mark Chapman went mad. So you could expect anything, but I think it's better to chase versus New
I think
Zealand.
the main bowler to watch out here for India is Trent Bolt, basically. Yeah, exactly. Because
obviously,
I was seeing in the warm up match today, I saw 1 over of the South Africa New Zealand game. So in the first over only took a wicket, right? So I think that in swinger, that what he does in the first few overs is pretty maddening actually. So that threat needs to be I not only in Dharamsala, in any places only he is a huge threat, but especially in Dharamsala, I think it intensifies. Yeah, go ahead.
So you don't have Wayne Parnell in Kolkata,
right?
Yeah, but that left arm swing could be a concern. But yeah, let's see. I mean, I'll still say I'll put my money on India. That's all.
I think the toss might be crucial here. So anyway, so let's so I guess so anything more we want to check out here for Dharamsala?
No, I don't. Sample size is too small.
Okay, cool. Then I guess I guess these are the venues which we had to cover today. So few other venues are left. So Ahmedabad, Delhi, and all these places. So we are gonna cover that later. So so overall, so this is how it's all stands. So basically, what we see is that there is no discrete home advantage. Many people are saying lots of home advantage. India is playing in home. I was seeing some say the great cricketer or someone like the Australian the podcast people. So they were all telling that it's India's home advantage and many things. But I don't. It's only applicable maybe in say Lucknow Stadium against England. I think that's the only place where you can actually maybe sense sort of spinning kind of pitches or something like that.
I don't agree. I mean, it's not completely India's advantage, because a lot of players have come and played IPL across the country. I know it's T20 and one day, but a lot of surfaces have been relayed. So there's no absolute out and out advantage. Of course, weather factors are there, especially you have unpredictable weather in Guwahati, Dharamsala, even in Chennai for that matter, it could rain anytime. So even in Bangalore, it could rain anytime. So you have to have proper games. There's no home advantage to any side, but we're hoping for a good World Cup. We are covering a few games live, and one of those games is actually India-Pakistan. And it's actually interesting that we are getting to cover this game live. So do support us. I mean, we are in for some actual fun during this World Cup.
Yeah. So that's what we all had for today. So like do like let us know, give us the feedback. So if you are enjoying this venue kind of a discussion instead of doing a team wise preview kind of a thing, because we thought that it would be a different kind of different from what we find on say CricBuzz or whatever. So other websites basically will find the team wise previews and everything. So this was some like out of the box thinking we did. So like as always, like please in the comments let us know like your thoughts about the venues or the teams you see like strong this time around, the weaknesses, everything. So and let's just explore this like World Cup together, have some fun. That's all. So hope you all enjoyed it. Like keep supporting us. Have a great time. Bye.
Bye bye.